Welcome back, everyone. And that was a report on the Italian art exhibition, which started on April 24th and is continuing, I believe, for the next few weeks. And with us to talk about Italian art and Italy on the whole, we have His Excellency Dr. Mario Boffo, who is the Italian ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Welcome, Dr. Mario, to the program. Thank you for being with us this evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And it's pleasure is all ours, of course. So first of all, we know so much about Italy. There's so many different things that you should be proud of. You've got fabulous music, culture, art, cuisine, fashion, food, you know, everything. It goes on. So the list goes on. But what important events would you say that you hold at the embassy in Riyadh?
Mm-hmm. In the future, or
in the future, you can tell us about future events that are coming up. Or
we have had some years ago a very interesting exhibition about UNESCO sites in Italy. With the presentation of the most important Italian sites declared as human heritage by the UNESCO, and it was quite successful. Yeah. Last year and also this year we have exhibitions of some folklore groups in the frame of the European festival that takes place here every year. And this year it is a group of the South that will show the public the tarantella. It is a typical dance and a typical music and songs of our city of Naples, that is probably the most well-known city in south of Italy. And I hope that it will be successful. For the future, we have other plans, but I think that we...
That sounds very exciting anyway.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Think so.
As for the Teresa Emanuel exhibition, the artist Teresa Emanuel, which my colleague Camille just mentioned, was inaugurated last Tuesday. What was the theme of that exhibition?
The exhibition was was organized by BMG, the famous foundation, Saudi Foundation, in cooperation with the same artist, Teresa Emanuele, and we also participated with a reception that launched the inauguration the day before. I was very happy to have this partnership. First, because it is, of course, she is an Italian artist. She's a young Italian artist, so I think that we have to support in any country youngsters. But what impressed me was the presentation that Teresa did of a classical art photo in a very innovative way. The first thing. The second thing that impressed me was her representation of nature. And the third thing was the fact that she represented nature. Let me explain. Italy has some features, some abilities, some characteristic aspects of its own culture but in our spirit, in our approach to life and also to art, also to technology and so on, we have a specific ability for innovation, for creativity, for presentation of things. So to present photos instead than on paper, but on this plastic glasses, I don't know which material, but giving them a different nature. They are not simple photo, but they also are much more metaphoric and explain much more than the simple image about her work. The second thing is that the fact to represent nature in our time is a message. Please, we have technology, we have challenging problems, we have also, I don't know, climatic change and so on and so on and so on, but please remember that nature exists. And remember that we need nature.
Yes.
And I felt, looking at the Teresa works, that the representation of nature is as important as its preservation, because mankind does things also through the representation that we, all of us, have of things.
True.
And if the issue is nature, it is very, very, very important.
So that is the best theme to actually pick.
I advise everybody to go and see the exhibition. I think that more or less 30 works. They are very good, very beautiful, and I'm sure that they will tell you much more than I about the meaning that I am trying to recognize in the exhibition.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, Your Excellency, how would you rate Saudi Arabians or Middle Eastern's appreciation of art, particularly Saudi's appreciation of art?
Well, many exhibition halls are opening, but there is something that happened to me just in maybe 1 month ago. I remember that I'm very new here. I started my mission here beginning of February, so I am among the ambassadors. I am one of the newest. I was invited to visit and to inaugurate an exhibition of young Saudi artists. Okay, many girls, many boys. That in a certain, I don't remember the name of this shopping center, presented maybe 100 works.
Yeah.
I was impressed because they represented traditional things, but in a very modern style. Okay, I also noticed that big differences of styles. Some of them more figurative, some of them more abstract, and so on. I saw the same approaches and the same directions of European art, for instance, but dedicated to Arab culture. One example on all, a young painter represented the Arabian horse. The Arabian horse in many ways. Arabian horse is one of your symbols, I think. So, and I appreciated that a lot. So from that, I understood that you are a people that appreciate and knows and inclines toward arts. Now, if you promote the young painters, young artists, and so on, I think that it will be a good policy. This is the last aspect that impressed me. I know, unfortunately, I don't know very well your poetry, but Arabian poetry is very famous in the world. And more in general, I would say that I appreciate the Arabian culture for what is in your history. Your history is the history of people that living in a very hostile environment, because now we have climatization and so on, but in the past century, but you succeeded to not only to survive to the desert, but also to make the desert a symbol, to find in the desert the inspiration for poetry, for art, and so on. And you created a very important civilization in a very modern country. It is not very, very cultural in the sense of art, but it is your culture. A culture that also allowed you to express many forms of painting, arts, or poetry, or whatever.
Well, picking up culture from art is a focal point. But you say, Your Excellency, you've been here since February. You're a new ambassador, but have you had the opportunity to catch the Janadriya Festival?
Not yet. I think that the last one was before my arrival. But I know what is it. I'm keen to go to see it as soon as possible in the next edition, because it is an event that represents your culture, also in its diversity. And diversity is very good, because in each of our country we have a diverse approach to culture, Italy, for instance, but also Saudi Arabia. And I would say that the essence of culture is diversity, because if all the world, over the world, we would have just one form of culture, it would not be culture. The culture is diversity. And it is a big event. It is something that you, to which you dedicate a lot of efforts. And I will try to get an Italian participation if possible, and how possible.
Well, Dr. Mario, we're going to go with a report on the exhibition now.
Okay.
To take a look at the exhibition, what it offered in terms of art pieces, and we'll be right back to continue with His Excellency, the Italian Ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Dr. Mario Boffo. Stay tuned.
To say that as many beautiful things that happen in art, it was somehow a coincidence. It's acrylic glass and transparent surfaces that came to me and not vice versa. I was trying to print on aluminum, and I was really unhappy with the result, because I felt the aluminum surface would kill the depth of my photos, which is, I think, the most important thing to be worked on in photography. And I was at the lab, and this piece of glass walked before me, and I just asked the people at the lab if I could print on that surface instead. And they said, yes, we can try. And I said, but can we achieve transparency? And so we set the machine in a way that it would not print white. This is where we have transparency. Shortly after, the piece was coming out of the printer, and I was already starting to picture what light would have done to it. And the result is, I think it's three-dimensional. It's an oxymoron of photography, because photography is per se bidimensional. So I started to challenge its statics with my kinetic work, and its bidimensionality with the effect of the shadows. Discovered my talent in 2007. I was living in New York, and I was a lawyer, and I had a camera, and a small camera, the ones that we all have in our pockets, and I soon came to realize that that wasn't enough for what I was looking for. I was shooting everything before me. Shortly after, I got myself a camera and started practicing as a self-taught. And I was very severe to myself. I always behaved as if the camera was a film camera, without allowing myself to shoot until I got the right image. And then in 2011, that's when I printed my first acrylic glass. And in 2011, in March, I was showing my first all acrylic glass exhibition in Moscow. This collection is called Quod Vides Totum, which translates into Kulumatara, everything that is seen. But the entire sentence of Seneca, who I'm quoting in the Latin title, says, and what is not seen also. So God is considered by Seneca to be in everything we see and in everything we don't see. So what I try to humbly do is portray all that is seen in my country. Most of the images that you see here were shot in Italy, where nature is so flourishing. And then with the shadows and the 3D effect, bring the viewer to what is not seen. I also think black and white helps like that, because it kind of neutralizes the viewer to his own feelings and lets him or her dream away with the work.
This is not your first time to exhibit in Saudi Arabia, is it?
It's my second time. This show was shown in Jeddah by the Italian Institute of Culture last month, and now we decided to bring it here at Alan Art Space.
Finally, do you have a favorite piece here in?
Oh, they're all my favorite, I have to say. I change my mind often. Every image brings me back to the moment I shot it. They're all very intense to me. They're all very meaningful. So it really depends on my moods. There is sometimes I'm closer to one work, some other days I'm closer to another work, because they all portrayed. These were obviously shot in different times, and so my mood had changed throughout time, and they all portray that very moment for me.
Welcome back, everyone. And that was a report on the exhibition that is currently going on in Riyadh of Teresa Emanuel, the Italian photographer. And now with us we have His Excellency Dr. Mario Boffo, the Italian ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, who's discussing with us the Italian arts. Welcome back, Your Excellency. Thank you for being with us again.
Thank you.
So if you could tell us a little bit more about perhaps the similarities between Italian, for instance, Italian arts and architecture, and maybe what might be in common with Saudi architecture, if anything.
Well, of course, we have two different countries with two different styles, two different histories. So I don't see many similarities. But what is much more important, it is something that we are experimenting in our time, that the two, you mentioned architecture,
Yes,
the two architectural worlds can speak each other, can interpret and understand each other. We have some very successful tests for that. There is an Italian architectural study, Studio Schiattarella, that won the competition for the project of the celebration hall, the main celebration, the great celebration hall that is to be built, I think, very close to the diplomatic headquarters. I know architect Schiattarella, I saw the drawing, of course, of the plan. It is great, and it shows the ability of an Italian architect to interpret the Arabian culture, because he's doing something with modern technology, modern concepts, and so on and so on, and so on, but inspired to your culture of housing, of the tent, of the desert, and so on. Yeah. It's something that has to be seen, because it is just the drawings are an artistic work. And I think that it is a good experiment. What I would like to do in my next month of my mandate is to improve and to increase this relationship between the two worlds of architecture, because we have many things to do together. Yeah. We need a better knowledge to better know each other, so visits, workshops together, I don't know, things that we can establish and organize for a mutual understanding. From the mutual understanding, I think that many projects can raise, because the most important thing between two cultures is not the similarity or the differences, but the
collaboration,
the capacity to dialogue, to understand each other, to cooperate.
Yeah. Well, Your Excellency, for the Italian Embassy to make such collaborations, and also the exhibitions like the one we have, the cultural events, they can transfer the Italian culture to the eyes of the Saudi population, give them a feel of what Italian culture is. But you can only really live it if you go to Italy and live it in Italy. So what advice do you have for Saudi tourists in Italy?
Oh my God!
Let's make another show
about it. I should talk for 20 years. Have you 20 years of time? I don't think so. No. Okay. In Italy, our feature in Italy, that it is that because of our history, we have very important, great important cities as Venice, Milan, Naples, Rome, Palermo, and so on. but it is also very, very interesting to visit medium and small sizes, small size cities.
Yeah.
Because in the Middle Age, we had the situation where we were under the Holy Roman Empire, so the German Empire, but the reality was a reality of city-states, very small cities, that had a situation of independence, of very good richness, and each of them rivalized with the others to have the best artists, the best cathedral, the best whatever. So that made that also small villages, small cities has important treasures.
Yeah.
Also the medium cities, many, at least 7 or 8 of our great cities have been capitals of states, because Italy was divided up to the last century.
Yeah.
And so Naples was a capital, Milan was a capital, Venice was a capital. So that gave to these main cities the stature of capitals. It is another feature. And you know that with the Renaissance, our art, our architecture, our culture, painting, whatever, became the center of the world in culture. But let me say another thing. Art is very important in Italy, but the Italian culture is also based on science, because in the Renaissance, for instance, we have as many artists, as many scientists that artists. I can mention Leonardo, I can mention Galileo, I can mention Cardano, and later on Marconi and Fermi. And so to approach the culture, okay, for the tourist, you go to visit more art and architecture things.
Yeah.
But if somebody is interested to know better Italian culture, he should also take in consideration our contribution to the international, to the world science, that it was as great as our contribution to culture.
People will find more than just art, and they will find a big contribution to modern science in the culture of Italy. Well, that's
our contribution, the Italian contribution to the culture of the world was important as in art, and it was as important in science and also technology.
Well, Your Excellency, Dr. Mario Boffo, I would like to thank you very much for taking the time to be with us on the program.
It was a pleasure
for me.
And share this information. And that was our guest, His Excellency, Dr. Mario Boffo, the Italian ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, talking to us about Italian arts and specifically the exhibition that was held for the artist Teresa Emanuele, the Italian photographer. We'd like to thank him again for being with us, and we'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of Harmony of Life. On behalf of myself, Walid Saleh, my colleague Camille Janvier, and director Mohammed Al Khatran, I'd like to thank you very much for watching. Until tomorrow, have a great night. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.